to RTV News. I'm William Evans, and these are some of the stories coming up tonight. Political analysts say that hope for peace in the Great Lakes region may be closer than ever as Rwanda and DRC sign a peace agreement. The RPF Inhotanyi Party has extended its support to the family of Mutoni Ahishakiye, who passed away last year while participating in a campaign event for the party's presidential candidate at the time. On the international scene, starting Sunday, France will enforce a sweeping ban on smoking in many public spaces, with measures prohibiting lighting up on beaches, in public parks, at bus stops, on outdoor train platforms, and in the streets surrounding schools and sports venues. Again, many thanks for joining me. This is RTV News in details. Political analysts say that hope for the peace in the Great Lakes region may be closer than ever after Rwanda and DRC signs a peace agreement. We do have a report. As Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, and the DRC's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kayukwamba Wigner, were signatories to the agreement. In his speech, Minister Nduhungirehe emphasized that the agreement is centered on the complete eradication of the FDLR, a group made up of perpetrators of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. He added that Rwanda is willing to lift the security measures it had imposed along the border, provided that the process of dismantling FDLR is genuinely and effectively implemented.
The heart of this peace agreement is the decision to establish a standing joint security coordination mechanism between DRC and Rwanda. The first order of business is to begin implementing of the concept of operations for the neutralization of the FDLR, to be accompanied by a lifting of Rwanda's defensive measures. This is grounded in the commitment made here for an irreversible and verifiable end to state support for FDLR and associated militias.
Political analyst Ruvugiro Sehene Emmanuel noted that although FDLR originated in Rwanda, its genocide ideology has spread throughout the region, even reaching foreign countries.
FDLR
is an ideology. Uprooting it is something that is not easy and will take some time. FDLR can be compared to a beast with multiple heads. Some are in Australia, others in some European countries, and others in Congo itself, with tangible evidence, and in many more other places.
Congo nyirizina ho hagaragara n'ibikorwa bifatika n'ahandi.
The DRC government has previously claimed that FDLR no longer exists, arguing that some members returned home and others dispersed. However, journalist Adeline Umutoni refuted that claim.
I spoke with some of the prisoners and those arrested for working with FDLR. They shared their vision and mission and people they were working with and some partners from the region. FDLR is actually in existence, but now it's even harder separating it from the FRDC.
She stated that while DRC has accepted the responsibility to dismantle FDLR, it must also put in place firm measures and work closely with Rwanda to achieve its goal.
The agreement comes to put a full stop on the root causes of the conflict in Congo. I don't know if you have looked at the outline, but the structure is firstly to uproot FDLR, then the rest of the implementation will come as a result of that.
According to Sehene, in order to eliminate this ideology at the root, political will and regional cooperation are essential, as emphasized in the agreement. Now that the agreement has been reached to uproot FDLR, next should be regional cooperation to uproot the ideology of division, because this is where everything begins. In the next 2 weeks, the M23 rebel group is expected to begin peace talks with DRC government, aiming to achieve lasting peace. These talks will be mediated by the state of Qatar, as outlined in the agreement. The RPF Inhotanyi Party has extended its support to the family of Mutoni Ahishakiye, who passed away last year while participating in a campaign event for the party's presidential candidate at the time. Now, following similar support extended family of Janet Nirere, who also passed away during a campaign event in Rubavu district last year, this Saturday, Emireta Nyirandejeya, the mother of Muthoni Ahishakiye, was supported with a house and equipment worth 33 million Rwandan francs. With deep emotion, the mother of Muthoni Ahishakiye expressed her gratitude to RPF party for remembering those left behind and continuing to provide comfort and assistance. Prosper Murindwa, the RFPA Inhotanyi chairperson in Rubavu district, stated that this gesture of support to Nyirandejeya reflects the kind of life the party envisions for every Rwandan, as outlined in its manifesto. In addition to the house and the livestock, the family also received 2 plots of farmland worth 10 million Rwandan francs, enabling them to become self-sustaining rather than working on other people's farms for wages. Now, also in other news, economic policy researchers say that African countries should establish long-term strategies aimed at preventing unexpected events that could destabilize their economies. This comes as the ongoing conflict in the Middle East is beginning to put pressure on the global oil market, with potential ripple effect for Africa. We do have a report. A study conducted by Economic Policy Research Network in Rwanda shows that African governments need to adopt specific measures to deal with unexpected and rapidly evolving economic shocks. One of the members of this network and the chairperson of the Monetary Committee at the National Bank of Rwanda, Professor Kasai Ndahirwe, explains that Rwanda is well prepared to handle economic challenges as it has done during the past crises.
ese ibibazo twanyuzemo ubwo twabinyuzemo dute icyo ni ikintu nacyo gishobora kuguha icyizere kuko urebye.
How did we overcome challenges in the past? That is something we build our hope on. Even though we went through a lot, our economy has continued to grow at a good pace. In the past 2 years, for example, we've recorded a growth of 8%. Seth Kwizera, the Executive Director of Economic Policy Research Network Rwanda, says the Rwandan government should continue to strengthen self-reliance programs and domestic solutions, finding strategies as these are the most sustainable ways to confront external economic shocks. Among the shocks is the geopolitical tensions. By default, this has some effect on us. Like we all know, Rwanda does not operate in a vacuum. We intertrade with a number of countries. Our emphasis now is on building economic resilience.
Economic resilience.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Honorable Yusuf Mrangwa, highlights that Rwanda has already put in place strong economic measures and the target is to maintain a growth rate above 7%.
Umusaruro mbumbe uteganyijwe kuzamuka ku gipimo cya 7.1% mu mwaka wa 2020.
Our GDP is projected to grow at 7.1% rate in 2025, at 7.5% in 2026. Yet in 2027, it is projected at 7.4%. In 2028, the growth is projected to be at 7%. Global political instability continues to raise concerns about potential economic disruptions, especially in developing countries. The conflict between Israel and Iran in the Middle East could also trigger economic challenges, just like in 2022 when Russia launched attacks on Ukraine, causing a sharp spike in the market prices. At the time, oil prices rose by 56.3%, reaching $113 per barrel. Now, young people engaged in agriculture are encouraging their peers to embrace modern farming, describing it as a profession that brings significant development when done properly. Mukagzitoni, 25-year-old, along with her peers, cultivate tomatoes, maize, and other crops, and she says that farming has transformed their lives, while Annette Kamikaze, another youth who remained in agriculture, sells seeds using digital platforms. She says that farmers no longer have to travel long distances in search of seeds, as everything now is available through social media. Jean-Paul Gafidi, an expert in agriculture and seed multiplication, confirms that youth involvement has led to more modern farming practices. He urges young people to embrace agriculture as it is one of the pillars of national development. This youth's encouragement, they also encourage to engage in farming, has been supported by various institutions and by the company SOZA. The company's operations manager has expressed gratitude for Rwanda's good leadership, which made this possible. The most recent national census shows that youth under 30 under 30 years old make up 65% of Rwanda's total population. Meanwhile, professional farming, a district from subsistence farming, is the second most common occupation in Rwanda, with 39.3% of the population now engaged in it, according to figures from May last year. Also, young people from districts of Gasabo and Nyagatare have expressed gratitude for the past 31 years, saying this period has brought them many opportunities. They note that many of them have started their own businesses, supported by the government, to realize their dreams through initiatives promoting entrepreneurship and connecting with them to partners. They see this as a sign of good governance and a strong foundation for a hopeful future. After the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the government of Rwanda prioritized programs to support youth entrepreneurship, vocational training, and access to loans and grants through initiatives such as BDF and Youth Connect. Promoting youth development has been a key priority for the government of Rwanda over the past 31 years. Over the last 7 years alone, more than 1.3 million new jobs were created, with a large portion benefiting young people. In both Nyagatare and Gatsibo, local leaders report that many youths have accessed opportunities in agriculture, and livestock farming. The Minister of Youth and Arts, Dr. Jean Nepo Abdara Tumatkwishima, has stressed that the government remains committed to helping young people find employment, whether they have formal education or not. It has also noted that the country's liberation is not just history, that it is a journey visible in life transformation. The youths of Gasabo and Nyagatare have been called to have a reflection and the hope for Rwanda's future. Tomorrow News, a young Sudanese has opened up about his life living in Rwanda and has shared his heartfelt message to youth from Sudan and across the continent, encouraging them to stay focused and keep moving forward despite the challenges. He spoke with Enora Gladys.
How is life in Rwanda?
It's been amazing.
Wow.
It's been very wonderful. It's been almost since April 2024. So it's been a while. It's been almost a year.
A year and
2 months, 3 months almost. So it's been amazing ever since we came to the country. It felt familiar. It felt like home. The people were very amazing. Actually, the hospitality is one thing. Like whenever we speak, like whenever we talk with anyone, the hospitality is the main thing for us. Like it felt like a home for us. That's why, like you see a lot of Sudanese coming here, especially Sudanese, like because it felt like home. It's not very different from home. That's why we like it here. It's amazing.
Wow, that's interesting. I would like to know what inspired you in the first place to come in Rwanda.
So it's not more of like what inspired me. It's what felt like home. So then I came here. We came here mainly. I've been thinking of it before, like to come to Rwanda to see, because my father used to come here and he visited and stuff.
Yes.
But it's mainly in our University of Medical Science and Technology. After the war happened in Sudan, they were thinking of going to multiple different places, but they did not find anywhere good enough, like not like fitting to the Ministry of Education standards and everything, but Rwanda. So Rwanda, they took it as a second home for us. With the education and everything, the whole university campus moved to Rwanda. We now have the UMST campus, Rwanda, and then we have the one in Sudan, but it's still not operational due to the ongoing conflict. So currently we have the UMST campus in Rwanda here, and that's what brought us here. 600, 800 students, almost a very good amount of Sudanese.
Yes, interesting. And more of what you're saying is that you're here on the purpose of pursuing your career, your studies.
Yes.
What is a specific thing that you're studying currently in your university?
I'm currently studying medicine. I am a third-year medical student in the University of Medical Science and Technology. That's what brought us here. We also, I think it was chosen strategically by Prof. Mohamed Hameda because the country it's generally very safe, it's very clean. It feels like there is a sense of peace and inclusivity in everything you want to do. And so I think they chose it, not just out of, I just want to choose a country. They chose Rwanda from research, from people coming here. Like even before Sudanese used to come here, there were UN, like Sudanese from Sudan, they used to come here, so they saw it and they have a background idea of it. And then the prof, I think he chose it strategically, and it's amazing. Generally for studying, it's very helpful. Like the environment is built for studying, it's made for studying.
More especially of what you've been saying is that you found many Sudanese here. Have you already found the whole community? Do you have like a community where you get to talk, get to meet with your fellow home country people?
Yeah, firstly, the home country people are our batchmates, our colleagues in the university. These are the first fellow mates. Then there is people from the embassy. Like the embassy here also is very welcoming to us, and especially the youth. They helped us. Like you can find whatever you need, you can find it with them. They are helpful. And Sudanese generally everywhere, no matter where you go, even if I'm walking and I see another Sudanese, instantly it feels like a family. So I did find a lot of community here, even not even just Sudanese, even Rwandese. The owner of the store, the delivery guy, they're very friendly, they're very open, so they also feel like a community, a family to us.
And I would like to know, have you ever found maybe like similarities, maybe differences between the two countries, Rwanda and Sudan, as the two places that you're currently in?
So mainly the differences, I think it's more like here it's more calm. The sense of calm, the sense of security here is higher than in Sudan. So that's one thing we really appreciate, especially as students pursuing a very difficult career as medicine, like studying and stuff. It needs a very good community, very good everything for it to be generally good. So everything is good. So that's the difference: calm and security. That helped us in studying and pursuing our career.
Sure. As a medical student, I do believe that you have passwords that you're maybe using to chase your dream to become, a doctor in the future. We'll be glad to have you here in Rwanda as a doctor. Why not? And I would really like to know, what word would you like to share with us, with the fellow young people from Rwanda, from other countries, concerning your experience? What would you like to share?
So one thing I would like to say to everyone is, do not stop moving. Like don't let fear stop you, and become resilient. The more resilient you are, the more places you will go, the more advantages you will find. So even like when you're trying to do something and then you're scared, there is this saying by I'm not sure by who, but it says like when you're scared, do it. That's the most time you need to do it. Like that's the instant you need to do it. Because when you're scared, your emotions and everything is just lying to you. Don't do it. But that is the moment you need to go into it. So it's generally just don't stop moving and don't let fear stop you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elnora.
That was Moayed Ahmed Kider. He was sharing his experience in Rwanda, sharing his word of password, and also letting the young people know that they should be keeping on going in any sort of career.
Visitors to the Kigali Genocide Memorial say the experience offers undeniable evidence that counters genocide denial, particularly regarding the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. Among the visitors was ERM Rwanda, an organization that played a role in caring for and raising children who survived the genocide and had no guardians afterwards. They were joined by the Melody of New Hope organization and about 120 students from various schools. The visit was organized as part of the educational initiatives to learn about the history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Pastor Emmanuel Sitaki Kainamura, the director of ERM Rwanda, explained why they brought the students to visit the Kigali Memorial and encouraged youth to study history as part of building the nation.
We choose to bring these youth to the memorial site because we want them to know the truth. People are confused. Some who are not even know exactly what happened, they get confused, they get wrong information. When we bring these kids, these youth, to the site, they can know exactly what happened in 1994 when the genocide happened in Rwanda, the genocide against the Tutsi, what happened in 1994. So we want the youth to know, because the youth are the power of the country, to rebuild the country. So when we bring them here, they know the back history. They know what has happened in 1994 when the genocide against the Tutsi were happening. They are Rwandans who killed Rwandans. So these are the youth that we need to teach them, to give them the values of a Rwandan, to be able to rebuild this nation for a better future. So we cannot pretend to say about the peace if these youth, because they are the mass power to rebuild the country, if they don't have that values, then it would be really catastrophic. But when we teach them the values, when we show them the back history of the country, then they will know how to avoid those ideologies of the genocide. We give them the value, we teach them the skills, but they have to rebuild the country in those two options. The one for getting the skills, but they also the one with the values that they need to face the challenge of those who got those bad ideologies. So we have to fight that, and the youth are the ones with the power to fight those ideologies of the genocide. So we teach them to be able to face the challenge of tomorrow, but also to face those who are wrongly giving them the false informations that they don't need. So that's what we do. We really excited to see this youth coming to see what happened in Rwanda, what happened when people with bad ideologies, with the genocide, have really, turn against themselves, because they are Rwandans. So they turn against themselves. So we have to really teach them those values to fight those bad ideologies.
Rashid Katerega, a member of the Board of Governors at Kampala University, said the purpose of their visit was to stand in solidarity with Rwandans during the 100 days of commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi. She also addressed genocide deniers, emphasizing that the evidence speaks for itself.
Moments. Laying hooks. Getting away. Making moves. Breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whatever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njye muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko ntashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byarangiye nanize amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye zibimaho. Bigereho
umukozi wa sosiyete. Turakwibutsa ko buri sosiyete isabwa n'itegeko kubika ibitabo bya sosiyete ndetse no gushyikiriza RDB amakuru abikubiyemo. Ibyo bitabo birimo igitabo cy'abanyamigabane, icy'abagenewe inyungu ku migabane, inyandiko y'amakuru ya sosiyete, ibaruramari ngarukamwaka n'izindi. Gutanga amakuru y'ugenewe inyungu ku migabane wanyura kuri bo.rdb.rw, naho gutanga izindi nyandiko ukanyura kuri org.rdb.rw.
On the international scene, starting Sunday, France will enforce a sweeping ban on smoking in many public spaces, with measures prohibiting lighting up on beaches, public parks, at bus stops and outdoor training platforms, and on the streets surrounding schools and sports avenues. Al Jazeera has more on this.
A cigarette break in a park is one of life's pleasures for Parisian Guillaume Rag, so he's angry that smoking in places like this will be soon banned in France.
It's just a way of oppressing us. It's a useless attack on our freedoms. Our rights in France are being destroyed, and ridiculous things like this become an issue.
It will become illegal to smoke in parks, on beaches, at bus stops and outside schools, anywhere that children gather in order to protect their health.
It's a very good idea children don't choose to smoke. It's a drug that's imposed on them. We all know it's unhealthy and can cause cancer, so children shouldn't suffer because of smokers.
French police will enforce the ban, and people found breaking it will face a fine of $150.
For decades, smoking was glamorized by French movie stars, but the habit once regarded by some as the epitome of French style is falling out of favor with the public. Opinion polls suggest that a majority of people support the ban, and the number of smokers in the country is falling. It's estimated 1 in 5 adults smoke daily today. 20 years ago, it was 1 in 4. This campaigner hopes France will one day be smoke-free.
It's important to protect children from passive smoking that kills more than 1 million people worldwide. And these cigarette-free spaces are ways of denormalising smoking in society. It is a step to a tobacco-free generation.
Those gasping for a cigarette outdoors will still be allowed to puff away on cafe terraces that are for now exempt from the rules. But the government hopes the ban will dissuade people from taking up smoking and help those who already do to stab out a potentially fatal and polluting habit. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Paris.
Now in Thailand's Prime Minister is facing calls for her resignation after a leaked phone conversation with her former Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen triggered widespread anger. In the call, the Thai Prime Minister referred to Hun Sen as her uncle and called the Thai military opponents, fueling accusations of undermining national interests, and thousands have taken to the streets of Bangkok, accusing her of selling out the country and demanding her to immediately resign. Al Jazeera once more.
Protesters arriving in downtown Bangkok from the former capital Ayutthaya. Others had come from all over the country in their thousands to make their voices heard. Some worried about the economy, others about a border dispute with Cambodia, but united in one goal.
I'm calling for the Prime Minister to get out. She's mishandled the country and she surrendered to Cambodia.
I'm here calling for the protection of our sovereignty. I love our country and I'm not prepared to see any land lost.
The Prime Minister herself has been conspicuously absent from Bangkok for the last few days. Earlier this week she toured Thai defences on the border with Cambodia. The protesters say she's mishandled the dispute over a small area of territory on the border, and they say she's been excessively deferential in her dealings with Hun Sen. The former Cambodian PM inflamed the situation by releasing a confidential conversation with Paetongtarn. He maintains that Thailand acted inappropriately, but he says a peaceful resolution is still possible.
The attacks by the Thai army on the Cambodian troops is a serious violation of the sovereignty and integrity of Cambodia. The situation is a repeat of history, but we have the will to solve the problems peacefully.
The greater problem for the Prime Minister may be her father, Thaksin, a former PM who was forced into exile for more than a decade. Many assume he's the one now pulling the strings. He remains a hugely divisive figure.
The protesters in fine voice, as they have been all day, calling for the Prime Minister to step down. The one question they can't answer is who will take her place.
Later in the afternoon, the skies darkened and the heavens opened. The protesters weren't deterred, but it could be an ominous sign that marchers will come back on the streets with more political instability ahead. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
And that report brings us to the end of tonight's edition. My name is William Evans. Have a good night. Goodbye.